Hey guys, this is Jonathan from Hiking in SC. I was heading out to do a little hike to Sid's Falls, one that I've never done before, but for the sake of time, I decided to do Reedy Branch Falls. It's one of the easiest waterfalls I think I've ever gotten to in South Carolina. It is so easy to get to, it's ridiculous. One thing that I found is Google Maps said that your destination is on your right. It's not, it's on your left. So what you got to look for is the little stone wall that's at the beginning with a little gate that's there. So I've been thinking long and hard about this channel and the direction that it should go. And if you only know me from this channel, you're gonna say, oh, he's just a crazy guy that goes hiking all the time in South Carolina. But you may not know that I am a wedding photographer and also a machinist. So the things that I know are photography, obviously, and it just never occurred to me to hold on real quick. This is how quick it is to get to this waterfall. It's right behind me, like 3 seconds actually. Not even exaggerating, but typically what I've done before up to this point is take all my photos by cell phone while hiking. And yeah, I mean, it's light, it's quick, it's right there, you know, with you all the time, but I just know that I can get better quality photos with my professional camera gear. So it's sort of like, how do I get all that pro gear out here in the woods? Well, these are some of the things that I'm starting to learn as far as how to get the gear out here, what kind of stuff I'm going to need to be able to show you how to take a professional picture if you are a hiker or getting into hiking and want to know when you get out here, how do you take a picture of this stuff? So first of all, why do I start so dadgum early in the morning? The reason being is I don't want any sunspots up there. If I get sunspots on that waterfall, I'm not going to be able to slow down the shutter speed enough to make it nice and creamy goodness. What I'm going to do is, before I keep flapping my gums too long to where it does get a sunspot on it, let me show you taking a picture of it. Okay, I'm going to set up a tripod. I'll show you some other stuff as we go along, but I want to get a shot of it real quick before it gets messed up. So guys, right now I'm using the Sokani tiny wireless microphone setup, and I had to record this whole little sequence again because I pushed the mute button by accident. Right now I have the camera set up on a tripod. I have it on a 2-second timer so that it doesn't shake when I take the picture, pushing with my finger on top of the camera. I have a polarizing filter on there to help me slow down my shutter speed, and we are on a very boring composition. It's kind of like dead in the middle, nothing really creative or exciting. So let me show you the back of the camera here. So this right here is what I'm seeing. If we can make it look like that, it's going to be awesome. Let me turn that back off. And like I said, we have it on a 2-second timer. We're just going to push the button and let it do its thing. So that's what we're looking at. So it looks pretty darn good. But I think I'm going to darken it up just a smidge. A smidge is a photography term. Don't let it fool you. Okay, so it looks gorgeous. Like I said, the one thing that I do not want is sunspots on the waterfall, because that's going to change up everything. So now I'm going to look for a little bit more creative kind of stuff to maybe show the environment. So like those rocks up there, you know, that are up above, rocks up there, kind of like the whole cavern, the whole environment. Then we might go and shoot a little bit of macro because it took us no time to get to this waterfall. Like you almost can't believe it took that little amount of time. What I use for video is a GoPro Hero 6 with a little LED light on top of it, and like I said, the Sakani Mini or Sakani Tiny wireless microphone, and also I use another one which is a Ceramic video mic, and that thing works great. But what I've found is there's about a 3-second delay before the GoPro starts picking it up. So don't talk in the first 3 seconds. So I moved around a little bit with the 78-200 lens, and now I went and put the 24-70 on. And let me show you what I'm looking at. So if I review this shot, what I have right there is, I love the waterfall, but I want to get this plant that you see right over there a little bit more into the frame to give it a little more perspective. So I'm going to move over probably in this neighborhood right here, and that might give me what I'm looking for as far as having something in the foreground and then something in the background. Then, now that the sun is kind of up, we're going to change our attention to some macro. And what macro means is close up, or 1-to-1 ratio. What that translates into is you're trying to get the subject to look life size, or the same size that it is in real life or nature on the camera sensor. There are what are called macro lenses, and what I'm going to be using is a Sigma 105 macro lens 2.8, and that's got image stabilization in there. Also 2 extension tubes. If you don't know what any of that stuff is, don't worry, we'll go over that later. But for right now, just know that's what we're going to be doing shortly. We're done shooting the waterfall, and we're going to start looking for macro subjects now. So think in terms of small things like flowers, salamanders, moss, even things that you don't normally see with your naked eye until you really take some time and look for them. Frogs, that's a good thing. Mushrooms. So tiny little things. It kind of forces you to slow down and look for things real slow. But that's what we're looking for. Speaking of things that you wouldn't see with your naked eye, a lot of people, they always wonder, how the heck did you see that? And it's usually because I have like 20/40 vision, right? So I can see pretty much anything. So watch this. So here we are, waterfall, creek, plants, the little edge of the water, So what do I see? Watch this. Zoom in right here. What could be so interesting? We're gonna zoom in right about there. You might be able to see what I'm looking at. But you can see right there is a plastic fork. So one thing that drives me nuts is when people come out here and they trash the trail, the campsite. One thing that I do adhere to is what's called leave no trace. So that means what the heck you bring out here, you take it with you when you leave. Drives me crazy. But no, we're not going to take pictures of a plastic fork. Hopefully that doesn't disappoint you. Look right here, you can see that there's a trail that takes you up to the top of this. We're not going to take that either. Something that looks cool is right there. You see how the tree, the small tree right there, it almost looks like a bonsai tree. We're still looking for something macro-y. So we may just get one of these ferns or something like that. But today, we're gonna get a macro shot. So we found our macro subject. It's a granddaddy longleg sitting on a fern. But here's what I use right now for this is a Yongnuo flash. It's a YN568EX2 with a Rogue flash bender medium. The Yongnuo YN622C-TX flash controller. One thing that people usually have trouble with when they're learning photography and using flash is they don't know how the heck to control the ambient light, which is the light that you see right now, and the flash. So the way I usually teach it is like a recipe. So most people know eighth of a cup, half of a cup, 3/4 cup. Well, what is really cool is that flash comes in the same measurements. So if you just think about it as a recipe, it's pretty easy. Then shutter speed is what controls your ambient light, and your f-stop or aperture is what controls your flash exposure. So later on I might make a video that goes over that and teaches you exactly how to use flash. But for right now, we're going to get this guy's photo taken. When you're using flash and a macro lens, some things to know are, first of all, you don't want a slow shutter speed. So we're going to turn that up so that we can hand hold the camera. So we want that to be maybe like 200. We're going to turn our f-stop to like 6.3. Let's go ISO 250. We'll try that. Right now we have the flash is going to be on, we're going to turn that down. We don't need it on 8th power, probably 32nd power because we're very close. So let me see what this looks like. And hopefully we can do this one-handed. And macro means we need to be really close to this thing. It's almost like you can't even breathe. Okay, so we need to go up quite a bit on our ISO speed. So right now he is in focus. And most people know this by the name Granddaddy Longleg. But really, it's like some kind of name like a brown harvester. Something like that. Alright, so we're still going to go up a little bit on that. And maybe a little bit on our flash power. Now, once you look through a macro lens, it's almost like you can't find your subject, right? Because it's like he's hard to find because you have to be so close to it. This is actually a bigger subject than where normally you would be looking for a macro subject. Ooh, that's cool. That is really cool. So like I said, normally this would be a very big subject for macro. Usually we're in the very like miniature microscopic kind of stuff. So that looks amazing. Very cool. So let's see if we can find something else that's really tiny. One thing that I found is this tiny little mushroom right there. But the problem is that I don't really want to take a picture of that because nobody is going to know the actual size of it, right? There's no way for you to know what scale it is. So that's why I chose the Granddaddy Longleg spider, because everybody knows what size that is. So what I mean is, if nobody knows that that's a tiny little speck of a mushroom, then it could be a portobello for all they know, right? So nobody really knows what that's supposed to look like or how big it is. So that's why you sort of want to look for things that people know how small it is. Okay? It gives them a basis for comparison. So look at this. Check this guy out. Look how cool that is. We're going to take a picture of that. Something that may give some perspective as far as how small or large that snail is the leaf that he's on. So most people are going to know that that leaf is probably about this big, and that we're not in the Amazon rainforest, and it's not like 42 inches across. Okay, so they're going to know roughly about how big that spider is, or how big that snail is. So let's get his picture taken. We got some macro shots. We got some shots of the waterfall. What I love about this waterfall is it's so quick to get to. It's almost unbelievable. It's about the easiest hike you could ever take. It's literally, you could be here in less than 5 minutes from the road. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but there was a forestry service guy pulling up when I got out of the car up there, and I was like, oh Lord, I can just imagine the phone call. They probably like, oh, Puerto Rican in the wilderness, Puerto Rican, everybody, code red, all units. But it looks like they were doing some road construction or maintenance down here, fire road maintenance. So that's why he was down here. So hopefully you were able to kind of learn a little bit about photography. For me, people come out here just like me. I use my cell phone most of the time. It just doesn't do the same thing. You know, it doesn't give you the same quality that a bigger camera is going to give you. And a lot of times people want to take a picture and be able to actually hang it on the wall, you know, and just kind of enjoy nature inside their own home, right? And that's what a landscape photo is able to do. Kind of helps you enjoy the outdoors even when you're not out here. And for me, if I can teach somebody else how to do things that to me I just find easy and doesn't even make me very anxious, like to me this is amazing. It's heaven out here, and if I can help bring that to somebody else, that's what I'm going to try and do. So I hope you enjoyed today, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you are addicted to anything hiking like I am, please subscribe for more hints, tips, and tricks, and now photography tutorials, right? Making it sound all exciting. But if you ever wanted to learn how to take a picture of what you see out here, I'm going to start making more videos along those lines on how to, record what you see and how to take it home and share it with everybody else, because sadly not too many people ever make it out here, and to me that's kind of sad. I understand that some people aren't as mobile, and so they're not able to get out here, but people that can, I mean, it's sad that they don't get out and find places like this. It's so easy. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to link my All Trails profile in the description, so that if you ever say, I really want to get out there, I'm inspired, I want to check out one of these waterfalls or trails, we're going to have it down there. You can look at, I think you can look at my maps, my lists, completed hikes. So if you say, hey, I want to do that same exact one that nut job did, you'll be able to follow along. So I think that would be pretty cool. Anyways, peace. So really quick, I'm taking a minute to do something that I almost always forget to do, and that's to take a selfie for the thumbnail on the YouTube channel, right? So what I'm using is a remote trigger. It is a Yongnuo RF603C, and what you do is you have one, you put it on a belt clip. I don't know if you can see that, and then right down here you're going to have the other one on the camera, and you have to have a cable that goes in this end right there, and then you have another one that goes in your, looks like that, kind of like a D shape, for your Canon camera. That goes in there in place of the remote trigger cable, and that allows you to take a picture of yourself. So that's a real quick video that'll help you in case you ever want to take your thumbnail photo. The reason I say hopefully you can see that is because we are in the middle of the quote-unquote Saharan dust storm. So far it hasn't really been that exciting, but we'll see. Supposedly it's supposed to make things hazy as far as sunset and sunrise, but we'll see. Tomorrow I have a wedding to shoot, and maybe it'll make it for an amazing sunset. We'll see. Peace.